Hi, this is Arlene Peck welcoming you to my show. Wow, it's Arlene. And today I have a guest. I don't usually introduce my other women guests as sexy. No, this is a lady who I have always thought was so sexy because she has charisma. And I'm gracious enough to admit it, in another woman, which doesn't happen too often. But she has a charisma, besides being a hell of an actress, a wonderful singer. And I've long been a fan of this woman because you won't even remember. I met you so many years ago. I was with Gloria Allred, who's a very good friend of mine. And we were up at the Senate Grill. Yes. And you were speaking at the Senate Grill. Singing at the Senate. And Gloria took me over to introduce you. And then another time, which you, again, probably wouldn't remember.
I do remember that.
But you sat at our table, and I think Theo Bickel came over
That's
and
correct.
Sat with us. And then afterwards, I went out with Theo for a long time after that, but he didn't like me because my writing was, after a while, because he considered me my Nazi writing because I was too politically incorrect.
Did you meet him that night? I was responsible.
That night, yes.
Oh, okay.
And but he doesn't like me today because I'm too politically incorrect with my writing, and another story. But then I met you another time when I saw you. Oh my God, you were wonderful in those plays with Joe, who's been on my show a few
Bermuda
times.
Avenue Triangle.
And Joe Bologna and Renee Taylor. And it was, what was it? It was
Bermuda Avenue Triangle.
You were the funniest show. Oh my God.
We just finished a tour of it in Florida.
Well, there was an after party.
Yes, at the beach.
And I had actually taken Gloria. And Gloria, again, was with me. This is how many years later?
Well, it was just recently.
Yeah. And she took me over, and again, we met you. I met you again, and I was like, oh my God, Lainie Kazan. So it was a long time. Well, it wasn't that long ago, but a lot of people were coming to you that night.
It was 1 year ago, actually.
Yeah, whatever, right?
It was 1 year ago, but then we just went out on tour. We toured all through Florida.
Well, I had Joe on right after I think they did it, or before.
I mean, the one in Brentwood?
Yeah, and it was...
It's one of the funniest plays I've ever read or ever been in or ever heard. It's so funny. I've never been a witness to an audience. I felt as though I was on a surfboard and I was riding the waves of laughter, because just as you got to the top and people would get hysterical, they'd come down, but then they'd go up again. It was amazing. It was just...
And I was there that opening night. It was... You have been in so many... That's what I like about your acting, because you have been in such, really powerful shows. And and you've been in shows that you won. What was it? You were nominated for
a Golden Globe.
A Golden Globe
for my favorite year.
For my favorite year, and then
I was nominated for an Emmy for St. Elsewhere, an ACE Award for oh God, I can't even think of the name of it, with John Houseman, Paper Chase.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I was surprised when I was reading it with Henry and the Hendersons.
Oh, Harry and
the Hendersons.
Yeah.
But one of the ones that I remember, oh my God, you were just wonderful in, which I think we have a clip of it. We could run the clip Beaches.
That's right. With Bet. I played
Bette Midler. Yeah, go ahead and run that, because it was just one of those shows that's a classic.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Oh, here we go.
Tell me why you're laughing. Ma! What? Tell me!
All right, I'm gonna tell you. You wanna know? I'm gonna tell you. Why do you think I'm living down here in Florida, huh?
I give up. You like the sun.
I don't give a shit about the sun. I'm here because it's peaceful, that's why. You always wanted too much attention. You wanted so much attention from everybody all the time that you wore people out. You wore me out, you wore your father out. May he rest in peace by the time you were 15 years old. Oh, come on. I love you, Cece. Oh, yes, I do. I love you very much. But I just can't pay any more attention to you. You know what I mean? I want to, but I just can't do it.
Freeze, hombre, or I'll be wearing your asshole for a garter. All right, put it away real slow. Hands up. What happened, Bernardo?
You shot my amigos.
Drop him. Nice pair of jingle bobs.
Thanks.
Was that a classic line? Several classic lines.
That I had more fun doing that movie. It's called Lust in the Dust. And when I was at home one evening, I was living in the Palisades, and my daughter answered the phone and she said to me, "Ma, Tab Hunter is on the phone for you." I said, "Come on." She said, No, Tab Hunter." So I pick up the phone and I said, "Tab Hunter?" I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, when I was a kid, he was like a huge star. So he said, "Yes, this is Tab Hunter. I have a script I'd like to send to you. I'd like you to read it. But why don't we have lunch first?" And we met at Butterfield's. Remember Butterfield's on
sure.
Sunset Boulevard? So we met there, and he was the most charming, the most delicious man.
The most gay.
Oh, he's but he's very,
I
very
know, but in those days, to be gay was the destruction of your entire career.
Oh, right. When he was a star, you mean? When
Yeah,
he was a big star.
yeah.
But not when I met him. No. So he says to me, this is very funny. He says to me, "Why don't you take this script home and take this film, this VCR, VCH, whatever you call it, to take this home, and here's a little thing that goes with it. It's called Scratch and Sniff." Now, I don't know anything about scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
I take it home and I'm having a holiday, a Pesach, a dinner, a Passover dinner.
She speaks French, folks, yes.
I'm having a Passover dinner, and my relatives are there, and some of my dearest friends. And after dinner, I put this movie on, and I give everybody a scratch and sniff card. And it's Divine. Do you remember the drag queen Divine?
Hairspray.
No, this
the
is
original.
one of John Waters' films. I forgot what it was called, but
No, but I mean, Divine that was a Divine, yeah.
That was, and it had scratch and sniff. So when he picked up dog poop, it smelled like dog poop. You would scratch it, it'd say #1, and little by little, my guests just started filtering out of the house. It was just so it was outrageous.
Yeah, well,
and I
Divine,
didn't know
it
who
had to
Divine
be.
was, but I read the script, and I said, "This is one of the funniest scripts I've ever read."
Yeah.
And it was a great experience. We did it we filmed it in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I'm still so friendly with the people that were in that movie. It's amazing.
With Tab, I remember Tab Hunter.
Oh, what a
was
doll.
Gorgeous. But in those days, I remember Rock Hudson, Tab Hunter, when it
but
came.
my whole life was with gay. I mean,
but I'm saying the industry at
Right.
that point to be I mean, look, what's her name? When they had Congress, when she had Ingrid Bergman, when she had an illegitimate child. Congress can make to go make a thing. Congress, an act of Congress, because she had she was an actress and had an illegitimate child. That was the end of her career.
Right.
And so I remember that. Oh, you have been oh God, you were in Delta Force.
Yes.
And what part did you play in Delta Force?
It's very funny too. I was called to play one of the passengers on this plane that was about the Entebbe.
Oh, sure.
So I'm in the film with Shelley Winters, Susan Strasberg, Marty Balson, Joey. What's his name from the Rat Pack?
Bishop.
Joey Bishop.
Yeah.
And on and on. Great actors. So I think I'm in this plane with these wonderful actors. I didn't even know the star of the movie was Chuck Norris. I had never heard of him.
Yeah, right.
But he was the star, and it was a wonderful movie. I played one of the passengers. Robert Forster was.
I was going to say Robert Forster. When I first came out here, and he was a terrorist.
Yeah.
But I met him, and I went out with him a few times, and he was one of the nicest,
He's a great
gorgeous.
friend of mine.
He is. I absolutely. You know how you look back when you're older and you think of all the things that you regret that you did, Or the only things I ever regret, there were very few I didn't do.
Right.
Robert Forster. Because I knew I would fall in love with him and he would break my heart.
I loved him.
And
too.
yeah, I still see him okay. I've been trying to get him on the show for years, whenever I bump into him. He's like, yeah. Maybe one time, next time we can get him,
That would be great. He's a doll.
Oh, he is, I know. But that was one of the all-time classics too, with that movie was, it was great.
And then, of course, my Big Fat Greek Wedding, which I don't have a clip of
I know,
today
but
because I took the wrong tape with me.
We noticed that when we got it. However, but I mean, you were, inducted into history with that movie. I mean, it's
with
my Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Never expected it.
Really?
I remember the first weekend. We made it a very low budget picture up in Canada.
I'm just curious, what would a movie like that cost? Because
I think it cost somewhere between $5 and $8 million. I'm not sure.
Which is so
but
loaded,
I'm not
right? Yeah,
sure
yeah.
exactly because there's a lot of stories. But we made it for a very reasonable amount of money, and I wasn't privy to a lot of the business stuff. But we just became a family, It
was
and
obvious
I think it translated onto the film.
Yeah.
But the first weekend, it was in the can for I can't tell you how long. And then the first weekend it was going to be released, Nia called me. She said to me, "Look, Lainie, we've got to we have to have a good weekend." She said, "You call all the synagogues and temples and email them, and I'll email all the churches."
Yeah.
And that's how it started, on a grassroots level. And then they just were geniuses in how they marketed it, because they went from
they had something to
town
work with,
to
though.
town. Yes, but they went to each town, and we were on a television show in every little fakakta town. And Nia
More French, yes.
Nia and John Corbett went along with the plan, and they just did amazing publicity, amazing. And the next thing they made $100 million. It was like, what happened? And then it made 200 and 3 and 4, and it went on and on.
And it's still going.
Yes, it does very well in video.
Are you
A participant? No.
I'm not sure I don't use big words like that. But I remember back in the days you were like tied in with the Rat Pack group too, and
A little bit. I knew Sinatra very well.
Yeah.
I had done a movie with him called Lady in Cement with Raquel Welch and myself, and just all these great people. And
I have a story. I remember my father. This is Atlantic City. Do you remember?
Of course.
Well, all right, my grandparents had a place in Atlantic City.
They did?
And I remember the old Steel Pier days. And I was a little girl, but Sinatra was like, I walked around with an autograph book. I'm 5 years old or whatever, and I'm walking around with an autograph book.